Tuesday morning, and we say good morning to you. We're waking up here on the radio side with the sound of Celine Dion on the track entitled I'm Alive. And indeed, it's just the sort of music that we need to inspire us on this wonderful day. A pleasant good morning to all of you that's viewing, that's joining us via GBN television. It is a wonderful Tuesday morning. We're up, we're alive, and we're giving God thanks and praise for still being in the land of the living. I'm Joseph Kador, your boy JC, here with you on a Tuesday, and certainly we're watching the month of November as it flies along. But good, you know what that means. When November gets, we get rid of November, then comes December, then comes Christmas, and we continue to count down the days in the morning time. I'm happy that you're up, you're about, that you're rested sufficiently, I hope. But if by chance you were not that blessed, let's hope you're in a position to manage your day and do whatever it takes to keep yourself going and to enjoy what the day has to offer. Well, where are we going to start this morning? We're going to start with the word of the day. And the word of the day is traverse. And traverse is a verb. And you know, a verb is an action word. And the word for the day, traverse, is spelled T-R-A-V-E-R-S-E. The word traverse. To traverse, to go or to travel across or over somewhere, or to move across. For example, the candidates traverse the stage through the campaign. Ships traverse in the ocean, or the river traverses the county. So, the word traverse, to move, to examine, to cross. For example, the bridge traverses a brook. Yes, or to move back and forth, to swivel. The word of the day, traverse, or to climb at an angle in a zigzag course. The word of the day, that's what swivel is. This can be used laterally. So the word of the day, traverse, and traverse is a verb, and it defines moving across an area. Yes, so giving you an opportunity just to add a little bit to your morning. Good morning to my dear old pal Andre Jerome. I'm hoping you, I think for a guy like Andre, he already knows the word. Yeah. So we're moving right along in the morning time. The idea is how do we add something to you in the morning time? And we're going to look now at the thought of the day. I offer you two thoughts of the day. And let me just click on looking for what I'm looking for, and I'm not seeing here. Here we go. So the thought of the day. Umbrella can't stop the rain, but can make you stand in the rain. Umbrella can't stop the rain, but can make us stand in the rain. Confidence may not bring you success, but gives us the power to face any challenge in life. You want to personalize it this morning. The umbrella cannot stop the rain, but can make me stand in the rain. Confidence may not bring me success, but it gives me the power to face any challenge in life. A thought for the day. Confidence. Again, reminding you that umbrella may not stop the rain, but it makes you stand in the rain, dealing with your circumstances. Confidence may not bring you success, but it gives us the power to face life's challenges. A thought for the day as you go through the day. Second thought for the day, because I always give you two, and remind you today that change is the end result of all true learning. When everything is said and done, change is the end result of all true learning. The second thought for the day, so you can interchangeably consider whichever one that you choose. Change is the end result of all true learning in the morning time. Keeping your eyes peeled on the clock, and it is 20 minutes onto the hour, and we're going to offer you the health tips. What is the health tip for the day? Today I say to you that to reduce inflammation, and this is from the Professional Supplement Center, they say to reduce inflammation in the digestive tract, you need to add more cleansing and alkaline in vegetables. So eat small amounts of fruits, so alkaline in vegetables, and eat small amount of fruits. Celery, cucumbers, avocados, melons, pineapple, those are all helpful, including blueberries. So, in order to reduce inflammation in the digestive tract and you add more cleansing and alkaline in vegetables, and you eat small amount of fruits. A little bit of health tip for the day as you go through your Tuesday. Let's look at what's happening on the COVID front in Grenada. We continue to monitor the action and the latest COVID dashboard. It shows that we have three new cases, and given us a total active cases that of 57. We've had 3 recoveries, and among the highlights of what's happening here is that the death toll, it has remained fixed, unchanged for the last 2 weeks at least. So we're happy that is the case. Continue to remember that you can go out and get your vaccines at different locations across the island, be the health centers. If you choose the health centers, you are reminded that you must walk with your ID for all locations, that is, but additionally at the health centers you have to walk with you must make an appointment. For today, Tuesday, there you can go at the Kirani James Stadium, accessing through Gate B, all of the health centers, and today the vaccine is available and tested at SAMS, and that's from 12 p.m. to 3. That is at SAMS. All of the health centers, again, you have to call, make an appointment, and the testing and vaccination is also available at Dr. Francis Martin's office on Grenville Street, available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 2, and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. Just by the way of information, remind you that you must make an appointment, so you have to call the health centers. St. George Health Center is 440-3371. Grand Bras is 442-7623. St. David 444-6249, Sotez 442-9317, Guelph 444-8414, and Hillsborough Carriacou 443-7280. That's the information that you need. We continue to keep you informed in the morning time right here on Classic. We're getting ready for the morning edition, a production for News and Current Affairs Department. For those of you that's on television, you get a rebroadcast of some of the top stories from last evening's newscast. Classic in the morning time. It is 16 minutes onto the hour of 7 o'clock. The morning edition comes up next.
Top story tonight. Health officials are trying to contain a COVID-19 spike on the sister Isle of Carriacou, while government announces a 4th COVID-19 vaccine option for the Grenadian public. Rena Perry-Thomas has more in this report.
The sister Isle of Carriacou is faced with a second cluster of the COVID-19 virus, as officials report 9 positive cases with 1 hospitalized. Health Minister Nicholas Steele first confirmed the cluster on Sunday. Reports are that the cluster originated from workers of one of the ferry services that travel to and from Grenada and its dependencies. The company just a few days ago announced the recommencement of their services between the island, but due to the recent happenings had to put the service on pause. Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, Kendra Matthew Stewart, gave an update on the situation.
Health officials on island discovered a cluster of positive COVID-19 cases, amounting to 9 as of today's date, primarily though among the captain and some crew members of the MV Dolly. At the moment, the health officials and contact tracers are on the ground, and they are actively and aggressively conducting the contact tracing to ensure that we arrest the situation before it further escalates into a case of community spread.
The minister made an appeal to passengers who traveled on the vessel between the 12th of November to the 19th to please get tested for COVID-19.
And so the health team and contact tracers are asking and is making a special plea to all persons who would have traveled on the MV Dolly C from the 12th of November to the 19th of November, and also persons who would have been in close and direct contact with any crew member of the Dolly C, to report tomorrow from 9 a.m. at the Hillsborough Clinic for the purposes of testing and or the dissemination of information relative to this cluster.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, in a press conference on Sunday, announced that Grenada will soon have an additional choice in COVID-19 vaccines, as the government will soon get a shipment of Moderna.
We also expect supply of vaccine from Argentina very soon. AstraZeneca, that is, and of course we expect from the United States government's initiative to have a supply of Pfizer and
The Ministry of Health dashboard shows that there are more than 33,000 fully vaccinated people in the state of Grenada and more than 6,000 partially vaccinated. The Prime Minister warned that although Grenada has somehow held the virus at bay for now, people should not get complacent.
While we have appeared to have the control of this period of infection, that we should not drop our guard, and there's some evidence of this, that we're beginning to feel a sense of being too comfortable.
Grenada now has 54 active COVID-19 cases with a positivity rate of 0.4%. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear Thomas reporting.
The Royal Grenada Police Force is investigating the death of an elderly man found in Cafe St. George on Sunday. Officers of the Criminal Investigation Department are probing the circumstances surrounding the death of 70-year-old Roy Gordon, a retired truck driver of Cafe St. George, whose partially decomposed body was discovered on Sunday. Reports received are that Gordon came to Grenada from Trinidad approximately 1 month ago to attend a funeral. Sources say the deceased was last seen alive in late October by relatives and that calls placed to him went unanswered. It was a friend who then ventured to look for Gordon and discovered his decomposing body. Police say an autopsy will be conducted to determine the cause of death and that a possible forensic investigation will be undertaken. Still with news from the police, the Royal Grenada Police Force is mourning the loss of a fellow officer, Corporal Kenneth Cummings, who was last attached to the Central Police Station and passed away at the Prince Alice Hospital on Saturday. The Commissioner of Police gazetted officers, ranks and file of the force extended deep condolences to the family, friends and colleagues as they come to terms with the loss. Following his death, the Commissioner of Police ordered that all police flags be flown at half-mast. Meanwhile, investigators assigned to the Grenville Police Station are investigating 3 separate stabbing incidents that occurred over the weekend, leaving 3 individuals hospitalized. 2 of these incidents occurred last Friday at Canal Road and the other in the vicinity of the Grenville Fish Market, resulting in a male and female receiving stab wounds about their bodies. The 3rd incident occurred on Saturday at Victoria Street, Grenville, St. Andrew. All individuals are in stable condition at the General Hospital. In other news, will the 2022 budget presentation be the most anticipated in recent history? Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell was recently quoted as saying that the upcoming general elections will be an interesting one. However, much more important and time-sensitive is the hike in gas prices and skyrocketing electricity bills that continue to burn through the pockets of Grenadians. As we hear in this Gerald Joseph report, Prime Minister Mitchell says citizens can look forward to announcements from the Minister of Finance on Friday.
The government will move to put a fixed price on the cost of gasoline. right? That will be announced on the budget on Friday. So I don't want to upstage the Minister of Finance.
Prime Minister Dr. Kit Mitchell strongly hinted at the budget presentation scheduled for Friday as a major turning point in terms of relief for several of the economic issues faced by Grenadians. A hike in gas prices has exacerbated inflationary burdens witnessed via the global food prices increase and overall rise in the cost of living. Prime Minister Mitchell, while speaking to media personalities on Sunday, announced that government intends to now subsidize gas prices.
In other words, we'll have to take a hit, so to speak. And remember, we need revenue to run the country. Government does not get much money from income tax because most people are exempted from income tax from $36,000 upward. So we have to be careful, but government is prepared still because of the seriousness of the situation to cap the price and suffer the consequences financially.
He noted that government is also considering two options to provide relief to be reflected on Grenadians' electricity bills, one of which the Prime Minister said is increasing the threshold of value-added tax beyond the first 99 kilowatts of electricity that has been in place since 1994.
So the Minister of Finance again will announce on Friday what that amount will be. So if somebody's bill was say 300 kilowatts, or let's say 4, the first 99 right now you don't have to pay that, but the other 300 plus you'd have to pay that. So if he raises it to about 300 kilowatts or VAT for VAT purposes, it means that you would only pay only 100.
Taking into consideration the loss of revenue and potential shortfalls, Prime Minister Mitchell stated that reducing the non-fuel charge on the consumer's electricity bills is the other alternative.
But there's a process to deal with that. We can now also, if we wish to, you could deal with the VAT issue by itself. You could also deal with the non-fuel price also. But there are processes to deal with that. So the government will wish to also consider that the Minister of Finance would also be dealing with this. Or you may just decide to deal with the non-fuel prices, right? And not touch the VAT.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Finance Minister Gregory Bowen will present Grenada's 2022 budget of revenue and expenditure on Friday at Parliament Building, Mount Weldale at 10 a.m. In this report, Rena Perry-Thomas will share with you the public's anticipation for Friday's presentation.
The fifth session of the 10th Parliament and members of the House of Representatives will witness the presentation of the 2022 budget by the Minister for Finance, Honorable Gregory Bowen, on Friday, 26th November. An approximation of $1,352,210,635 has been made for 2022. Public debt is scheduled to take up the largest piece of the pie, followed by the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Pension and Gratuity, Ministry of Finance, among others. Going into the budget, a primary surplus of $117.1 million and an overall surplus of $62.7 million.
I think we should spend more supporting the poorer people. Yeah, because Grenada is a lot of poor people suffering in Grenada. And the government's supposed to help them.
Pension issue. If you cannot give us, okay, when you retire, you give us a little lump sum, okay, give us 2 pensions. The government give us a pension, and we'll get the one from NS. That would make it much better. You understand? And I see that as reasonable still. You understand? I work with government for 26 years and 3 months, and when I retire, I get nothing. Nothing. And which I think is unfair. If the government know that even all the people who working in let's say with government presently,
they have to build more schools and hospitals and create more jobs for the young people. But there are thousands of children who left school and they just do idling, waste of time. Schools and provide lots of jobs for the youngsters. To raise the pension, NS, to $700 per month. And I really glad the pension to poor based on the cost of living in Grenada.
Healthcare, jobs,
and agriculture. And we got it to go. And let the money run on the street. If the money running on the street, everybody going to be happy. But if the money running one way, the people here on the street going to suffer. And the next thing, take the monthly allowance for the people who work by the month and put it every week. So we have everything going nice and easy.
Due to the current COVID-19 restrictions, only a limited number of representatives from the business community, social partners, the diplomatic corps, and other stakeholder groups will be accommodated at the Parliament House. The general public at the home and in the diaspora is encouraged to join the live coverage on all radio, television, and the social media entities. For GBN News, I am Rena Per Thomas reporting.
And as we close off the first segment of news, the time is ripe for a woman to ascend to the uppermost political echelon in Grenadian society. That's the point of view of several people here as interest in Grenada's political process peaks following recent developments. The National Democratic Congress elected a youthful political leader, and calls were made for the new National Party to follow suit. Days following the call, the ruling party announced that it had launched a search party to find someone to replace Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who announced in Parliament for yet another time that the next general election will be his last. That was one of the issues discussed on GBN's Beyond the Headlines program, which featured Mrs. Shirlene Herbert of the Grenada National Organization of Women. Herbert thinks the time is right for a woman to take the reins of leadership within the new National Party.
The leader of the NNP, there's a call for a handover, somebody more youthful maybe. While there's a need to have that mix in terms of youth for succession planning, I think Dr. Mitchell is very experienced and he is in a good place to train or give guidance to younger members, and it could very well be a woman, and I hope it's a woman that emerges in the NNP.
Some are of the view that Peter David is still a youthful force who could well be a front runner to replace Dr. Mitchell. Former political leader of the Grenada United Labour Party, Gloria Payne Banfield, is not sure that he has earned his stripes in the party to deserve the ultimate spot at the top.
You see, there are a lot of old, and when I say old, I don't mean
by age.
I mean old timers in terms of people who have been in the party for a long time, solid NNPites, who would resent that. A person just coming in and, vying for leadership right away and all of that. He has to do his time. He has to earn his chips. He has to, and I think that he is going about it the right way by getting a ministry like the Ministry of Agriculture. When he was Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there was nothing. No Minister of Foreign Affairs wins an election, to tell you the honest truth.
No additional money will be paid to retired public servants if government loses the pension court matter. Words of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, as he says he does not see much of a dispute on the issue of pension. Gerard Joseph has the story.
We do not have a pension issue. The pension issue has been resolved with the unions. They have agreed on that.
The issue in contention is associated with pension, but not the pension issue itself. That's according to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell.
You can retire, and as long as you sign the document, you will get 70% of your last salary. Period. So that anyone does that, they get 70% of your last salary. It's a combination of NIS and government.
He notes that what is unresolved is what year does government start paying from.
In the old system of pension, you get 66 2/3. So government is agreed to give more than the old pension agreement. What is in dispute is the fact that if you want to go back to 1958 and talk about paying all those persons, that we said we have to start at a particular period because we are not responsible, as you know, for removing pension of workers.
Prime Minister Mitchell says it is difficult for any government to agree to pay pensions from 1958 and onwards, which calculates to over $1 billion.
And we're saying that is in dispute, and that has been taken to court by the unions. They took it to court. So there is no dispute at this point in time. The pension numbers have been agreed to, and the issue of the back payment for persons who serve for years and continue to do so, that is the one that is unresolved.
However, PW President Brian Grimes has a different outlook.
So those statements at the press conference were basically stamping on the legacy of those who have died without pension, and it's showing salt in the wounds of those who are grieved at this point in time.
Grimes says injustice and inequity seem the order of the day.
We live in a society where parliamentarians in 1989, of which the current leader of this country was part of that administration, ensured that they got pension. And they get a gratuity at the tune of approximately $80,000 every 4 years. So if you get a couple of terms, you do the maths. They are able to collect pension at age 55. They are able to collect pension within 10 years. People are serving 30-something, approaching 40 years, and they are in poverty.
Public sector unions were in conformity with government's offer of the 70% payout to pensions. However, no agreement was signed. And end-of-year judgment is expected following public sector unions bringing the issue to court against government. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
This craft and spice market on Grandans Beach and the National Taxi Association have found their way to have Grandans Beach included as part of the tourism bubble. The bubble, which was introduced with the onset of the winter cruise season, provided guided tours to sites where vendors and other operators are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Let's get some more details in this report.
Cruise visitors to Grenada can now access Grandans Beach thanks to a new strategic alliance between the Grenada Tourism Authority and the National Taxi Association. This announcement was made by Tourism Minister Clarice Modeste Kerwin during GTA's press conference last Friday. The minister says this will not hinder Grenadians, however, from accessing the beach.
We have looked for ways as to how, because we know we can't tell our beloved citizens they can't go in Grandans. Compliment the chairman and the team of GTA who have worked assiduously to check on all the sites. Some were ready, some were not, and we all work to get them into a better state of readiness, because you can't bring a cruise ship with thousands of people on board and have just 2 locations where to take them. And so it is a work in progress. We're looking for more, but we have at least 11 sites where the persons are fully vaccinated and visitors can have the experience of their life.
Nautical and Development Manager at the Grenada Tourism Authority, Nicoyan Roberts, explained the 5 steps contained in this pilot bubble tour, the strategic alliance between the National Taxi Association and the Grandans Spice and Craft Market vendors. She says it is the creation of a sanitized, safe bubble tour for the resumption of beach tours for cruise guests.
Each beach bubble tour will last for 3 hours. It will initiate at the designated National Taxi Association kiosk at the Esplanade Mall using fully vaccinated NTA taxi tour operators. The visitors will be dropped off at the main entrance of the Grandans Craft and Spice Market and have the opportunity to purchase quality craft items, local food and drink from our fully vaccinated vendors. The tour will culminate after the 3-hour period when the visitor is collected at the original drop-off point and returned to the Melville Street Cruise Terminal.
Roberts added that while on the beach, visitors will be able to rent beach chairs from registered and fully vaccinated beach chair operators, and the area where visitors will occupy will be cordoned off and monitored by officers of the RGPF. The nautical manager continued on the aspects that guide this pilot bubble.
This strategic pilot beach bubble tour will be evaluated on a daily basis, and any gaps or challenges will be addressed immediately to enhance the visitor experience whilst keeping everyone safe. The beach bubble tours will only be offered on cruise ship days, and therefore all vendors, operators, staff and patrons at the market on those days must be in a fully vaccinated space. So you have to be fully vaccinated in order to secure the sanitized bubble and give our cruise guests the confidence that public health standards in Grenada are no less than what is provided on the ship to keep ourselves safe and to keep our visitors safe.
Chairman of the Grenada Tourism Authority, Barry Colmo, says this is a first of its kind. Thus far, 5 cruise ships have visited the island. Christina John, GBN News.
Eat safe foods after an emergency or disaster. Unsafe foods can make you sick, even if it looks and smells normal. Throw away foods that come into contact with flood waters, have an unusual smell, color, or texture, and foods in damaged, rusted, or swollen cans. A message from the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council in collaboration with the Ministry of Health with support from the Pan American Health Organization.
A whole new level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always at Grenland, you come first. Save energy, save our time, reduce your wattage and reduce your time. When you use appliances, make sure you buy energy efficient every time. Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always at Grenland, you come first.
Physical violence, threats, controlling behavior, and being disrespectful are no-nos in any relationship. Parenting together after a breakup can be difficult, but always speak and behave in ways you would want your children to speak and act. You cannot control what your ex-partner does, but you can control how you choose to respond to your ex and what behaviors you display to your children. Parents, display behaviors you will want your children to learn. A respectful child begins with you. Step up your parenting game. My family matters.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 for 18-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Real
Southern music that just puts us in the spirit of the season. It's Christmas from Moss International. Let's all be merry. Let's enjoy the day. Enjoy the day, and then we can enjoy the season. 18 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. If you're heading in for 8:30, for 7:30, then I hope you're ready on the JOB 8 o'clock workers. We continue to work the clock with you. I want to say good morning to a special friend that's joining us this morning. Folks, we've over time we've heard about the role that sports it plays as a form of keeping young people active. And certainly we as part of that conversation, the National Grenada Basketball Association is not just using sports as a vehicle to keep young people actively, physically involved, but as a tool and as a vehicle to instill onto them other life values. And certainly joining me this morning to talk to me about that initiative and that junior program that they're running is President of the Grenada Basketball Association, Jared Sincere. Good morning, Jerry. How are you, comrade?
Good morning, Joseph, and how are you doing? I'm doing pretty fine. Just came from my morning jog and exercise.
That's the problem I have with you all guys, You always have to rub it in because some of us don't have the luxury of that, So you have to rub it in. You just came from your morning. Well done. There's nothing better than starting the day that way, Jerry, is it?
Yeah, I'm an early riser. Usually I'm up by 3-4 in the morning. So starting off my day with some exercise really gives me that impetus to have a really good day.
It actually does.
Yeah.
It does. Talk about starting the day right. It's also important that young people get their lives in the right direction from a very early age. And the Basketball Association, you have a program that serves to do just that. Tell us about it.
Just one correction. This is an organization that was formed out of Grenville, and so whilst GNBA endorses it, GNBA doesn't really directly is not directly involved in the running of it. It came out of the lockdown in 2020 last year when Dwight Gibbs, who was instrumental in forming this, came up with the idea that we should get the kids out because they were inside for a few months. And so I agreed, and we decided to run a 2-week summer program that is for basketball. And we did it, but the response we got, because we did reach out to some of the former basketballers who lives in the diaspora, and particularly most of them in New York area, and they responded overwhelmingly. They were able to put together and sent a number of items for us: basketballs, cones, nets, and a number of different things that could really help us to run a program. So when we saw the response, we decided it doesn't really make much sense having all this equipment and resources and run a program for 2 weeks once a year. So we agreed, of course, with the blessings from those in New York area, that we're going to develop a program for kids and have it on a weekly basis. And hence the reason why we have what we call now the St. Andrews Basketball Fraternity for kids 6 to 16 years old. That is primarily volunteer. So we don't charge kids for registration it's free. And the coaches do it as part of the community service as well. So it's completely free, and we depend solely on the support from the former basketballers in diaspora.
Give me an outline as to what happens on a daily basis, because we appreciate that there is basketball, but it's also you teach them life skills and the other elements to it.
Yeah, so it's, as I said, it's for kids 16 to 16 years and 6 to 16 years, and it's for both boys and girls, so it's not limited to boys, and we've had a really good turnout. And we run that on Saturdays from 3 to 6, and here's how we have the younger kids from 3 to 4:30 and the older kids from 4:30 to 6, so we basically have 2 sessions. And the response has been so great. We have about 110 kids that are registered into the program now. What we do is we have a curriculum that we've developed, and within that curriculum, we teach life skills as the activities go along. So we look at leadership. We encourage kids to take leadership positions during the activities. So, for example, during the stretching and warming up, periodically we ask kids to take the leading role in that. Then we have sessions where at the end of the basketball activity, we have discussions with them. We bring in young professionals as well to have discussions with them on specific areas of development. And so that is an important part, because we do not want the kids to just see it as leaving home and coming out to play basketball. Whilst they're interested in basketball, we also understand the importance of developing the overall person. And we found that one of the major issues that the kids have is self-confidence. And so we have been attempting to encourage positive growth in that area by giving kids responsibilities, talking to them, engaging them some more, because we found that kids were very shy and were not responding to us in ways that we expected them to. And that's something that's part of the younger generation, because there is much socialization that, that process isn't as we had growing up. We basically played outside with many different kids in the communities. And so naturally we learned to socialize with others. But now it's different. Society has changed with the advancements of technology and the gadgets. Kids basically interact on gadgets and phones, and with not much the social skills that we were taught. So we emphasize that a lot, and we use that medium to help them to develop that. And we've seen some improvements. We've seen kids who came in with behavioral issues and over time have improved. We've seen kids who came in overweight and have lost weight. We've seen kids who did not even look into our eyes when we spoke to them and were unable to respond, and now they're talking, they're participating. And so it has been an overwhelming response, and we encourage that sort of voluntarism, because we do not want to just teach them those life skills, but we lead by example. So we teach them to give back as well. Last year, we gave many items to one or two of the homes for the elderly, and the kids were actively involved in doing that. So they took the lead whilst we organized the activity. They were the ones who took the lead in presenting the items to the elderly, etc. So that's one of the things that we encourage. We also encourage kids to identify other kids who are needy within their communities and to bring it to us so that we can see how we can help them, and they will be the ones taking the lead in that role as well.
And you'd have to agree, Jerry, that these are values and virtues that would take these kids. They can be applied on the basketball court and also takes them outside and beyond.
Yeah, because we emphasize things like teamwork, leadership, self-confidence, developing that conflict resolution, discipline, the importance of being on time. That's a real issue in Grenada. And so these are all the things that we sound over and over and teach them based on, because there are situations that come up within the basketball activities. There are things that come up. So when they come up, we address them as coaches, and we always encourage coaches to be aware, to allow these opportunities. We call them teaching points, to teach the kids how they can be better persons, how they can be better individuals. And we believe that if we teach them at this young age, then these things are going to stick with them, and they will grow into individuals and develop into individuals that we all would be proud of.
The concern you made of initially about children and their lack of confidence. Yes, we know there's a challenge of those growing up in the modern era where they're device-oriented, but do you think it has a lot to do also, even older folks, the way we were cultured years ago?
Yes, I honestly believe that. We are not a society where we encourage kids to express themselves at home. Very often kids may come to us and they have a challenge or something they want to share. And as adults, we are not very interested in that. And I believe that as parents and adults, we have to encourage those sort of engagement. We ought to be sensitive and aware of differences in kids' behaviors when they do occur, because if you know your child, then you'll be able to pick up differences in behaviors and attitudes when something is not right. And even if they may not engage you, then it is your responsibility to engage them, to have them talk about it. I encourage my younger son to to talk to. He is not a talkative person, and that may have come through because I'm not very talkative as well. But I'm learning that, in order to get him to talk, I would need to engage him some more rather than waiting for him to engage me. And so I've seen some improvement over time where I take the lead to engage him, to ask him about things that happen during the day or at school, and give him an opportunity to talk, because this is an important aspect of a child's development, learning to express himself or herself, learning to express their feelings and not shut it down. And it's a culture that we have to change. And if we're going to produce well-rounded individuals who are confident, then we as adults need to provide opportunities for that to blossom. And that starts at home. In the school as well, teachers must take that responsibility as well, be able to identify kids who have self-confidence issues and give them responsibilities, bring them through that process where they would see themselves as contributing positively towards even the classroom and certain aspects of it. And that is education. It's not just the content and teaching the material, but allowing kids to grow and blossom into themselves is very important for your success as an adult.
It's interesting that you've actually said that. It just took me back to one of the thoughts of the day I had this morning that really indicated to us that confidence is not success. The success is one thing in life, but without the confidence, it allows you to express who you are, the real inner person. It literally leaves you almost empty. Program is in the Grenville area, endorsed by the National Association. Can we see, or has there been plans to expand it, or has that already started?
Well, we are hoping. We in our discussions moving forward as an executive, we would want to use that model and allow other communities to adopt it, because as I said, we are not just doing it for 2 or 3 years, because we believe strongly, and we have a steering committee, that this is a model that can work. It doesn't really require much resources. We just need a few individuals who are willing to give their time, and the kids are already there. So once we have a few individuals who are willing to give them time, and then we can tap into the diaspora, because a basketball is not very expensive, and net is not very expensive. So once we have a basketball court, the kids are there. We just need the adults and the diaspora to connect and to develop that model. And so SABF is willing to share that model with any community that is interested in adopting it, because we see strength in that, and the results have been amazing. There was one kid who when he came into the program was pretty overweight and had self-confidence issue. He has not been involved in any sporting activities before, was not able to construct a sentence properly. And within a year, Joseph, we've seen that kid lose about 20 pounds or so. He's now playing some basketball. He's engaging you when you talk to him. You could see how his confidence has grown, and he is participating with more interest now, because the self-confidence, when you believe in yourself and when you're confident about who you are and what you do, it's amazing what you can do. I myself has gone through that process of lacking confidence as I grew up, but basketball gave me an opportunity to express myself. And once I was able to do that and to express myself on the court as I played and prepared for games, and I realized that this can spill over to many other aspects of my life. And a lot of it has to do with the commitment towards a process of getting better and improving. And once you're committed to that, but if a kid doesn't understand that and doesn't experience that, I experienced it in basketball. I saw that my commitment and love for the sport sort of brought me success. And so I sort of shifted that same model to academics and to other aspects of my life. And if we can get kids through that process where it doesn't have to be sport, where they see themselves working consistently and improving over time and achieving goals, then it can spill over to different aspects of the life. And it's amazing of the things that you unlock when you have confidence, because with self-confidence comes that positive energy that you can conquer anything that you choose to. And that is good for society. That is good for a country if we can encourage that.
The yes, I can for mentality. Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Yes, I can.
Jerry, I know that's not your area of expertise, but I'm sure you could speak to it as a father and an individual involved with young people. There's often people, they tend to be able to mix up being rude with a child that is expressive. Talking that for me, if you can, because I know you're involved with these young people. There is a vast distinction between the two, isn't there?
Yes, there is a distinction, and we as adults, sad to say, we have not been trained or educated in that aspect to be able to handle situations that would show up from time to time, and we typically label it as being rude, and it's because that's how we were taught, and that's fine, because I believe, Joseph, if a kid is being rude, or even if he's expressing him or herself outside of boundaries that you might expect, I believe that we ought as adults to be able to see through that and to use that opportunity as a teaching point. And as an educator, that's what I say. I use these opportunities as a teaching point, because very often when we react to that action by the kid, we lose an opportunity to teach them, because if as adults we want them to behave in a certain way, then we ought to teach them. And at times we do not see through that to be able to get them to engage them in ways that they understand that as a child and you as an adult is trying to pass on wisdom in teaching them how they should behave. And a lot of the kids would listen to you once they are in a position where they believe that you are actually trying to help them rather than to reprimand them. And I also, I'm not saying that we should not reprimand or we should not, let kids know that if they stepped across a certain line that they did, we ought to do that, because
Correct.
That is about control. That is about establishing boundaries and knowing how you should behave. But at the same time, then we ought to go further than that and be able to teach them, because a lot of the times there are root causes that is contributing to that. There may be other issues going on beyond the scene that is responsible for that reaction. I
often say, Jerry, and you can share your thoughts, that if sometime as adults we picture in our heads how we would respond if somebody was to talk down to us, if we stop for a split second and try to figure if I would feel that way as an adult. I'm a grown adult, I feel that way. Far less a child who's not at that cognitive level. How is he or she going to respond to it? Yeah, because that child could respond in either of two ways. Totally shut down and hide his or her feelings, or react in a way that you think is disrespectful. And so it's either or. But either way is that you ought to be able to get that kid to, one, control his or her reaction and do it in a way that is acceptable. Or even the kid that shuts down, let the kid know that this is not an appropriate reaction as well, because when you shut down, you basically you're holding your emotions, and it's gonna explode one day. It's gonna cause some extreme reaction or behavior one day. And so if we do not express our feelings and we're not given the opportunities to do that, then in controlled ways, then it explodes and it comes out in negative behaviors. So yes, they can respond either of the two ways. And I think that as adults we have to, when a kid is too quiet, it's not good. If a kid is too expressive, then we have to learn to teach a kid to control it. But we must also encourage a kid who is too quiet and doesn't say anything to express themselves. And it's important that you follow the tone, because even as adults, sometimes it's not what we say, it's the tone that comes with it. And that's a good way as a parent to evaluate, is that child being rude? You can then watch their body language, because we often assume that once the octave goes up, we assume it's a sign of rudeness. But then suddenly, if you watch a kid's body language and facial expression, you would probably realize this child is probably just inquisitive. They would probably ask you, well, why?
Yeah. And that, because we do not want to shut down, because we are a society that shut kids down a lot, and we stifle their personalities. There are some kids who are going to talk a lot naturally. That's their personality. There's some kids who are going to observe and speak only when they need to. There are some kids who are going to tell you as it is, and we have, we must be able to identify those differences and channel it in the right way. And that's a challenge for us as parents. How do we treat each kid so that we channel their personality and their tendencies in the right way so that they develop into adults that we all would be proud of? And it's a challenge, because parenting is a challenge, because nobody teaches you to be a parent. You basically learn from your parents, and then you try to use different little strategies that you think may work. And it's a challenge, and especially with the kids today that can really interpret your action as being intrusive in many ways to their privacy, because we have a very, very private, kids now are very private with the onset of the technologies. They basically engage with their phones and their tablets and the television, and would prefer not to be bothered, So that's something that this program came, we looked and said, no, the kids are too much inside, especially with the lockdown. We need to get them out, and we need to get them playing again. So parents must encourage kids to play, to go outside. We must not allow kids to spend an entire evening on the tablet or the phone. We need to have some control over that, because kids need to socialize, even if it means taking them out to the mall or to the movies with a friend or a classmate or something like that. Because that human interaction, we're losing that bit by bit with the advancements in technology.
And that is so true. We're keeping our eyes on the clock, Jerry. It is 20 minutes onto the hour. In case you're just joining me, whether on radio or television, I'm speaking here with the president of the National Basketball Association, and the sanctioner program has been rolled out in the big parish. Big parish always tend to lead. And it's an initiative whereby they're using sport as a vehicle and medium, not just to teach basketball, but to teach other life skills. Jerry, we've actually said a lot. And after all is said and done, we tie back. You start with basketball, you teach life lessons, and then all of that translates itself back onto the basketball court. Leadership, whether it's who becomes the team captain, who becomes the point guard understanding his role, the center understanding his role. Everybody at the end of the day, if you're going to run a screen, to use a basketball term, everybody needs to understand what must be done.
Because Joseph, with the advancements of technology and the access to information, kids, we see a lot more basketball on television. We see Stephen Curry, we see LeBron James, we see Kevin Durant and all those superstars, but we do not see the work that they put in to get to that point. And so kids assume that they can just, get to that point without putting in the work, because we see the flash and we see the lights, we see the highlights, and we see the numbers and the statistics being put up in soccer as well, in all the sports, because we have access to so much more aspects of the different sporting disciplines, and as a result, kids do not understand now that to get to that point, there needs to be that commitment and that work ethic that must be emulated. And if you do not have it, then you will not get to that point. Because when you listen to the stories of those superstars, to get to that point, they put in the work. So whether or not it's playing basketball just within your community or within Grenada, you have to put in some work, and you must be committed to it. Whatever you do, whether it's your academics or your work, your profession, there must be that level of commitment if you are to excel. And that's an individual thing, and that's what we want to teach, so that you get to that, to understand that there is no shortcut to success. You have to put in the work. You must be committed. You must be disciplined. You must stick to it. You're going to fail, but you don't stay where you are. You get up and you keep moving. And these are things that we want to teach the kids in this book.
And it's important that you say that, because we've been taught that failure is the end of the road, when failure, in fact, may just be a stepping stone to take your success to another level.
Yes, it is. Whatever experience we have, it's an opportunity for us to learn. And when we fail or we come short, we come up short to what we thought we would have, then we need to do an assessment of what happened and learn from it. And it basically gives you wisdom, because, we hear about age brings wisdom. Experience brings wisdom. It is from our experience. So the more you experience, the wiser you should get, because from each experience, you should be learning from, and it should be teaching you, so that when next a similar opportunity or situation comes up, that you're wiser. And so growing in that aspect and is important for your development as an individual. So, as we say, age brings wisdom, but I always say experience brings wisdom.
Experience indeed bring wisdom, and hopefully we learn from it. I certainly hope, Jerry, that program that you have, it soon become a national exercise, and that could transcend itself also into the other sporting discipline. Before we run though, drugs, sports, not just basketball, but as an educator, as a coach, that's a no for you. I just want you to speak on that.
Yeah, that these two should be completely divorced and should not, if you're gonna be involved in sport, whether or not you have aspirations to get to the professional level or you just want to play within the community, drugs are just not good for your body. There are negative outcomes that are related to it, behavior or physical, as relates to health, etc. And so I could use this opportunity to encourage the kids to not get involved in using any form of drugs, whether you think it's just for entertainment or just when you're out hanging out is not good. And my first son plays soccer, a lot of soccer. He plays for Paradise International, one of the top Premier Leagues football team in the island. And from a very early age, I encouraged him and I said to him that do not get involved. Do not get involved in using any form of drug, whether it's marijuana or excessive use of alcohol, etc. If you want to excel, if you want to get maximum, efficiency and output from your body, you have to keep it clean. You have to, train. You have to work hard, but you do not put those things into your system and expect it to perform. If your car is, you must maintain your car or your vehicle if you want it to work efficiently. You would not just put anything in your car. It just wouldn't work. You wouldn't put water in the gas tank. So you know what's going to happen. So these are things that we have to teach our kids, and conversations we must have with our kids at a very early age. So I did have a conversation with my son very early. He was in primary school, into secondary school, and I told him about drugs and sports, and you have to keep yourself clean. And these are things that parents must address. We have to ensure coaches, we have to ensure that we highlight those things, because there are too much negative outcomes with the use of drugs. And the two don't go together.
Indeed. And the earlier we start that conversation, the better. Yeah. Joe, we have to leave the conversation here for now. It's 12 minutes onto the hour of 9 o'clock, of 8 o'clock. What's my rush? Onto the hour of 8 o'clock. But I want to say thanks, and I really, really applaud the efforts of your colleagues and the Basketball Association by endorsing such a program that allows you to couple sports with life lessons. It's not just about the sport. It's all about advancing our young people and, by extension, the nation as a whole. Thanks a lot, comrade.
Yes, Joseph, and thank you for having me. And I just want to say that, we need to promote healthy lifestyles in Grenada, and sport is one of the avenues that we can do that. So thank you again for having me on the program.
Anytime, that's not a problem. 12 minutes on to the hour. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right here on Classic in the Morning Time. Times are hard, and your vehicle is your investment. Let it work for you. Get a wheel alignment from Premium Auto Services and enjoy greater fuel efficiency, smoother ride, improved steering, reduced repairs, and longer lasting tires. Make that call today, 439-4000, or just visit them on the Calavini Main Road. Don't forget to ask about their 20% special discount and all new tires. Premium Auto Services, your one-stop auto repair center.
Some information.
have been waiting on it all year. Now, it's your chance to make this Christmas better than ever. Get the extra cash you need with a Make This Christmas Better loan from the GUT Credit Union. Get up to $50,000 to celebrate your Christmas and make your holiday dreams come true. Home improvements, new furniture, a vehicle, debt consolidation, or even a vacation. We can help you get there. Yes, you can. Make this Christmas better with the GUT Credit Union. It's where you belong.
Life's moving moments don't always work as planned. That emotional hug during the graduation ceremony, sudden sightings of old schoolmates during a shopping trip, things can go a little off track quickly. With 15-way voice and video calls, group chats with up to 1,000 persons, and free messaging, Bib helps you share the happiness and be prepared whenever life hits. Keep the good times going. Share it on Bib. Bib, more than just a messaging app. Download Bib today.
Good morning to all our wonderful friends that's joining us from the diaspora. It doesn't matter where you're from. Ayulin Alexander, Melvin Coutain, the regular guests, Peter Mitchell, and others. It's always a pleasure having you on. Good morning, Zephyr McLeod. It's good to see you on, comrade. Folks, reminding you that the Fisheries Division, they're continuing their licensing and the inspection exercise today. The team is going to be on the Carnage this morning from 10 until 2, from 10:30 to 2:30. Keep that in mind. Remember, this is an annual exercise, and failure to comply could have serious consequences on your ability to ply your trade. So go out and do what you have to do. Good morning to Lady Moyna Williams. Renee Williams. Yeah, I know sometimes you're late tuning in, yes. Happy Tuesday to you as well.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, we here nice and warm in Grenada. It's cold in the Big Apple, we know. I've been certainly hoping to give you maybe the music and the spirit of the season. We'd allow you to have fun with us. Reminding you folks at the top of the hour, we joined the BBC for a bulletin of news. We're going to return at 9 o'clock. Well, the police for To The Point. This one digitally remastered by Marcin by Jad Malassi. Indeed, let's all be happy as we move towards the Christmas season. Mandy reminded you that Friday is budget day. Yes. The presentation of expenditures and revenue.
Every boy and girl sings a cheerful.
We sing a cheerful song as I get ready to leave you this morning.
Let's all be happy.
Let's all be happy.
It's Christmas.
Again, as I leave you, I want to remind you that change is the end result of all true learning. That's what education is intended to do. Change us for the better. It's not just about acquiring information, or acquiring an education, but asking ourselves the question, how do we apply that which we've learned? That it allows us to become a better individual.
Let's all be happy.
And before I leave you, I'll share with you again my second thought for the day. Remind you that the umbrella can't stop the rain, but it can make you stand in the rain. Confidence may not bring you success, but it gives us the power to face any challenge in life. With those words, I'll leave you here for today. Have a great day. Chasey loves you.